Dawson Rider Wiki.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here, and this is going to be a revisit review of the Kyoryuger vs. GoBusters Triple Dino Team-Up movie. Obviously revisiting the film because I just rewatched it, but also while revisiting it in the review style, I wanted to talk about some theories or possible ways that we could adapt it for Power Rangers, given that we pretty much know we are doing our version of it where we have confirmed to have some returning Rangers, or at least, pretty much like 85% confirmed, some MMPR and Dino Charge. And as of this video, apparently Dino Thunder won't be involved outside of the Triptoids, but we'll see. So, if you follow the channel or me in any form, you may know that I'm not a fan of this movie. Its very existence offended me when it came out. I was supposed to say when I came out. Ever since I was born, this movie's been my arch rival. At the time, even still now, for a while, I've just been kind of fatigued at team-ups because there's just been so many crossovers, it's not exciting anymore. And then, it's the fact that usually these team-ups are kind of our last core experience with, like, the last cast, like last year's Sentai cast. We might see them return later, but it's usually not the full-on team. It's kind of our epilogue, in a way. And then it kind of disappointed me that the GoBusters weren't going to get that, and instead were being shoved aside for these crusty dinos because they wanted to do a triple team-up since it was the third Dino series. And I get that. I still stand by. I think it should have been two separate movies. I think we should have done Kyoryuger vs. GoBusters and then done a special of all three dinos teaming up. Then I wouldn't have been as upset about it. So that kind of bothered me. And upon rewatching it, like, the old and busted Dino Sentai teams don't actually take up that much screen time. But it's weird because for most of the movie, even though the old and busted dinos don't take up that much screen time, they mostly keep the Kyoryugers and the GoBusters separate. You basically start with the GoBusters chasing some of the Vivix, and they're like, what's with these cabbage people? It's like, you know how it is. And they run into the Kyoryugers, and then they're attacked by, like, Neo Zeltrax and Neo Goldar, basically. Neo Gryphosaur, and I can't remember, is it Galdane or something for Zeltraxes? But they both have a Dino Red under their control. For Neo Zeltrax, it's obviously Abare Red, and then for Neo Gryphosaur, it's Geki, who we get to actually see being attacked when he meets Daigo's dad. But, they basically just find out they're hunting the Dino teams, they're trying to, steal the Dino team's power, and they have the Reds under their control. And then you basically just get, like, a brief scene, or a brief couple scenes of the Kyoryuger and GoBusters teams interacting. Like, there's some really nice bits in there, like, I really liked the two blues bonding over the old man jokes and stuff like that. But then after that, they're largely kept separate, with the GoBusters spending a lot of time, like, in this warehouse fight scene, and then the Kyoryugers get turned evil and sent to the past to take out all dinos, and then they come back and they do their big, our big pose team-up moment with all the other dino teams, and then the more traditional team-up of the two is saved for the very end, when you have all three Dino Mecha, and then the GoBusters are in there, because they use, like, a GoBuster Sentai Judenshi to give, basically, Raiden Kyoryuger a formation where it's holding Tatagami Lyo's helmet, or helmet, Shelmet shield, there we go, Shelmet. It's really weird, because the GoBusters feel really tacked on, and it's a weird situation for the PR one, because this team-up was when Kyoryuger was the current Sentai, and GoBusters was previous year's Sentai. But for this team-up, for Power Rangers, the GoBuster suits for Beast Morphers are our current year one, and the Dino Charge suits are 2 behind, because last year's was actually Ninja Steel. So it's kind of a weird spot. There was some kind of cool parts, just visually of seeing the teams together in this movie. Like I said, there were some nice little interactions. The GoBusters parts weren't terrible. Jay was entertaining in it. They did that thing that kind of bothers me, where you have characters that were killed off or aren't in the show anymore that they bring back with a dumb excuse. They're like, oh yeah, we had backups of Enter, Escape, and Jin in there, and they're just here because we wanted to have the cast here. It's like, sometimes it's kind of nice to see them again, but the other times I feel like it just cheapens the ending when they're like, oh yeah, here's a BS reason why these people are back for 4 minutes, but then they're not. But it's a weird movie. I'm still not a fan of it. And I think the main point I want to make is this should have been its own movie. I'll just keep saying that. There's a weird plot about Dino Hope. It's literally just hot. It's one of the top 5 most hot toku nonsenses I've ever heard. Like, what is Dino Hope? Like regular Hope, but with Dino? Kind of like you have that regular oatmeal that's Dino oatmeal when you put the eggs in it. It's so stupid. And, like, basically they want the Kyoryugers to go back to the past to take out the dinos before they became their partners. And all throughout the movie you have this ambient voice warning Daigo to protect his best friend, and it turns out it's past Gabutira before he became Kabutira, warning him. I don't know how he gained, like, future astral projection sight. Like, there's the inner workings of a good movie here, but it's just nonsense. Like, after the Kyoryugers return, when they snap out of it and they're fighting, there's like a scene of Daigo looking around at his team and everyone's fighting in slow motion, and it's meant to be the super impactful moment, but they're just saying nonsense. Like, the Rangers are like, we'll protect Dino Egg's hope with omelets and power. I'm like, you're saying nothing. It means nothing. Literal, like, word salad, and I'm like, this is the stupidest stuff I've ever seen. So that whole Dino Hope stuff was really stupid, and then he's like, I'm gonna punch Dino Hope into Black Gabutira and make him regular again. Like, we got the black repaint of Gabutira just so that he could pass out and sleep and then wake up. Like, we never got the full combination that they sold. That could have kind of been a cool bit. Like, it's just such a nonsense movie. Like, it would have made more sense if somehow the villains were trying to, like, get rid of the dinosaur era somehow to prevent the existence of the dino teams. Like, it's not a good movie in my opinion, guys. Like, overall, for the movie itself, I'd probably give it like a 5.5 or a 6. I'm not into it. Like I said, there's some cool parts, but I think if it were me, again, I would have separated it into two so that you could give the nice time for the Go Busters and the Kyoryugers to interact and more time for the Go Busters, and then have a nice movie with all three and come out with a plot that's not Dino Hope nonsense. And it was just weird because, like I said, they kept them separate for most of the movie, and it wasn't even, the problem wasn't even the old actors being there, because they were very minimally. The problem is that they kept the team separate for most of the movie, which kind of just defeats the purpose of a versus movie. But, like, moving on to sort of the theories about the Power Rangers one, I mean, they primarily got, you know, Geki and Abared, I can't remember Abared's name, but those are the two primary ones. They show up under their control, and then they're just kind of hostages, and they team up at the end. We do get a cameo from Abared Blue. It's not a cameo, he's in there for a couple scenes around the middle of the movie. And then at the very end, like, everybody, not everybody shows up, but the core other 4 G-Rangers show up, and the other 2 of the core 3 Abba Rangers show up. Abared Killer and Black aren't in it. Dragon Ranger's not in it. And I don't, like, I couldn't tell which ones were the, I remember reading from back in the day that a couple of them for sure were the voice actors of, like, the actors that played them, but nobody else appeared actor-wise. It was only, unless I'm forgetting somebody, it was only Geki, and then Abared and Abba Blue. Abba or Abared, I always forget. But those two, everyone else was voiceovers of some kind, but they got all the core characters at the end. So they could do something similar with this, where, because I was actually thinking about the filming photos we recently got that showed the Dino Charge Rangers fighting against all 3 core Dino henchmen, and that scene's like right out of the beginning of the movie when that exact thing's happening. The Kyoryuger are fighting the 3 Dino henchmen, and then the Go Busters come save them. So I'm gonna predict that they could easily do something very similar where that happens. The Dino Charge Rangers are under attack on one of the Earths, the Beast Morphers Rangers save them, and then maybe we'll have, like, Jason either coming in to help them, or maybe he gets taken over by Vargoyle, because a lot of people are theorizing Neo Gryphosaur will be Vargoyle, who's been mentioned in Beast Morphers, you know, and he could end up being a presence in Season 2 period, and not just for this movie, which I think would be interesting. And it's kind of interesting, too, because I hope they have Dino Thunder, because all they have to do is have at least Red. Like, and if I feel like, you know, I think James Napier kind of quit acting, or he hasn't been acting, but it would be cool if they could at least get him to voiceover or get a sound-alike. And I feel like the guy that plays Ethan would come back, so you could have him in a similar role to what Abared Blue was in this movie. But you only really at least need Red in a voiceover capacity, even if we get a really strong sound-alike. And I had kind of a funny theory on Twitter that I posted about how they could have, like, the movie opening with, like, you know, one of the villains trying to, you know, steal or kidnap, steal Red's powers from Dino Thunder, or kidnap him, and he gets, like, frozen like Tommy did in the show, and then he gets defrozen at some point, but then he's trapped in his suit just like Tommy was. So you could then kind of have a dumb reason why we don't have the actual actor back, and then it's kind of a meta reference to Dino Thunder and what they did for JDF, and then, like, at the end you could have him be like, well, I'm gonna go find Haley and Dr. O and they'll fix me, or something like that. I think that could be a cool way to do it. But I feel like it just makes it more complete to have all three of them there, because there is the inner workings of a good movie here. Like, and I'll be interested to see how they bring everybody together if they do have Dino Thunder, because, you know, if there's not, but Beast Morphers and MMPR are on the same Earth, and if Dino Thunder's in it in some capacity, they are as well, but Dino Charge is on a different Earth. So it'll be interesting to see if the Dino Charge Rangers are being attacked when they come to our Earth, or if we are going to theirs again. I was thinking that it would be kind of an interesting plot, because it was weird that, like, in the movie they're like, Kyoryugers, go to the past and destroy Dino Hope. I'm like, that's nonsense, that's nothing. But they could have a plot where we get the evil Dino Charge Rangers and they take over them to go to the past, maybe for, I don't know exactly what reason. I have kind of one theory, but or what reason the villains would want to do this, but maybe they do not like that Dino Charge's timeline is messed up and that the dinosaurs are still alive in the future. They don't like that the Dino Charge Rangers timeline is messed up, so they send the Dino Charge Rangers to the past of their world to take out the dinosaurs. Since Sledge's meteor storm didn't take them out and they saved them, they're like, we have to right this wrong somehow, like maybe there's a reason for it, and they send the Dino Charge Rangers to actually be the ones to take out the dinosaurs to set the timeline right. I have kind of a fun theory about that, which I'm going to save for a different video that's going to be a pseudo-sequel to this, but I think there's inner workings of that I'd like to see them do. And honestly, if we could just at least, like I said, get a good sound-alike for Connor, that would be good, because I think that's all they really need. Because I said, like, primarily until the end of the episode, or end of the movie, it's primarily just the two Reds, and that's all you need. I'll be interested to see how much original footage they come up with too, because maybe they are just going to use minimal footage, but like, if they're not using Dino Thunder, really the only usable footage is the beginning when the Kyoryugers meet the Go Busters, and then if you chop the ending up, but you really would have to work at it, because then you can't use the Megazord fight either. I'll probably do a couple more videos about this as we continue to go along, as we learn more information. I have a couple more theory ideas, but I just wanted to talk about it in reference after rewatching it. But yeah, I'm still not a fan of the movie, but I think there could be cool stuff done with PR based off of the infrastructure of the movie. But what do you guys think? Did you guys like the movie? I'm not a fan, but if you like it, you know, I hate you. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, how do you think they could use some of these elements? Do you want to see them use more original footage? I mean, I would. I would like to see them purpose some of this footage, but also create more original footage. Like, if we could get Trent's actor back, just because, you know, the White Ranger suit's not in it, we could totally film scenes with it. But anyway, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps, and ring that bell to get notifications for all my videos. Till next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out.